My name is B-rad and welcome to F1 24 Manager. And it is finally time that I actually do an actual Let's Play here on the channel for F1 24 Manager. I finally have the motivation to actually do this Let's Play. What we are going to be doing is we're going to just making sure, everything is great, But either way, we are going to be doing one thing here, for this Let's Play. As you can see in the title of this stream, or video, whatever you want to call it, whatever app you're watching it from. As you can see, Road to Glory, what does that mean? Well, let's go ahead and go to career save, or new career.
The adrenaline-fueled extravaganza with the top drivers in the world, going wheel to wheel for the championship. With 24 races in the 2024 season, teams will be facing more challenges than ever before. We're ready for excitement ahead as the teams return to the drawing board in the battle to end Red Bull's dominance. They'll need to balance their aspirations for high performance with the risk of pushing too far and inviting catastrophic failures out on the track. With many drivers on the last year of their contracts, team principals will need to ensure that they're kept in the right mindset across the whole season, as well as managing sponsor demands and protecting their most valuable assets from the prying eyes of their rivals. The competition is fiercer than ever. This is Formula One. With a new name.
Alright, hold on. Give me, hang on. So, as you can see, like I said, now, Road to Glory, that is basically taking one team who either two things. Hasn't had the great success in a long period of time, or never really has gotten to a point in their careers where they were ever champions. So, the first team that we're going to try and get the team some glory here, it's actually the team you're seeing now. Kick Sauber, or the team I'm going to call them is Sauber. The thing we're gonna do with this is that we're gonna take each team, except for a few teams. I will go over that here in just a minute. But we're gonna take some of these teams and get them to glory from zero, basically, or basically from wherever they are in the table as far as performance, or stuff like that, to basically being a championship contending team at the end of the season, or at the end of seasons, I should say, or multiple seasons. But the few teams that we're actually, we are not going to include, one of them being which is Red Bull, because Red Bull actually has already gotten some glory, obviously. So, obviously, I do have the option to. I never even realized, but Ferrari would technically would count, since they have. So Ferrari would count because they haven't won a championship since 2008. So the only teams that I am excluding from this Road to Glory series is Mercedes and Red Bull. Now, you could make the argument that I could technically count McLaren out of it, but McLaren hasn't won a Constructors' Championship in a long time either, since, actually, it doesn't say their Constructor winning last time they've won, but McLaren hasn't won a Constructors' Championship in decades, and neither has Ferrari. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from basically Ferrari all the way down to Haas. But, like I said, the first team we're going to do is kick Sauber. Because they are basically, essentially, what is the worst team on the grid in terms of performance. So, yeah. And obviously, there is no, like, limitations on what I can do. But there is going to be a couple things that we will do before we actually start the season out. Like, obviously, you got your sponsors and stuff like that. But as far as the plan for the future, we're going to have to... Let's say we're going to have to, like, plan it out. Like a little paint, like a little art, like a painting. You have to plan your vision. You have to plan that painting before you actually start painting it. So that's kind of basically the analogy that I kind of want to do with this team. Kind of plan my painting before I start painting this team to where it needs to go. So with that, Kick Sauber actually has a team rating of 2 stars. I think as far as team rating, that kind of determines your, I think your sponsors, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. I'm going to be quite honest with you. So, obviously, I think the higher team rating that you have, the better sponsors you'll get. The objective we have to complete at the end of the season is 8th place in the Constructors' Championship. That may seem like a not so difficult of a task. That's because it isn't that difficult. But it is hard because you essentially have the worst car on the grid. Not only that, we also have not so good headquarters, not good of a driver pairing at all, or driver performance, neither when it comes to staff. So, this team essentially is going to be a true road to glory, other than my team, which we will do later on. But we are going to be having to restructure the entire team around massively. Like I said, we gotta plan our paint team before we paint it. Essentially, that's the plan. Our starting balance is going to be low, which is really going to hurt our performance. Or let me find a better word for it. It's going to make it difficult for us to improve our car. And also, on the long-term objective, the team wants us to be a podium contender, which will be doable by Season 2. So, yeah. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our main drivers. Obviously, we have 4 extra affiliates to use up, which we will use throughout the season. So our main drivers are Valtteri Bottas, a veteran, and Zhou Guanyu, still a rookie somewhat. Neither are going to be very good this year because of the car being trash. And we might have to plan our roster for next season a little bit. Like I said, plan the painting before we paint it. I'm probably going to repeat that phrase so many times over, but plan the painting before paint it, because we're going to have to plan a lot of stuff before we actually paint the car. Basically, paint the way we go about this. So we're going to go ahead, obviously, and continue on to career settings. We're obviously going to be the manager at Kick Sauber. We're going to go ahead and go to Experience Manager. I'm going to use a name that kind of is ironic, but oh well. I'm not using my real name here, like I have done with the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. Kimmy Waffles. Why not? It's a fun little name. Why not, right? We're going to go ahead and start. Also, car development and race difficulty will be on standard. Just because I haven't tested easy or hard, but I'm just going to do standard, just because. And obviously, we will be experienced when it comes to management. So that way we don't get tutorials. Now, if we open up, as you can see, the Mentality Hub. Oh boy, the Mentality Hub is really bad. This is kind of where the whole analogy comes in. Plan about the painting before we paint that. That's where it all kind of comes in, because this car, if we go to car development and actually take a look at the car performance, it is absolute dog water. Like, probably, like, I probably would be better off grabbing the, what was it, what was that car that was so terrible, but also not great either? I don't remember. I don't know, I don't know. But either way, yeah, the car is terrible. Like, absolutely terrible. So as you can see, we are pretty much the worst car on the grid overall. Pretty much. But for whatever reason, we are not the worst car on the grid. And as a matter of fact, we're actually the 9th best on the grid. But if we go to car analysis and compare with other teams, we're obviously going to be worse than Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes, Alpine even, Williams too, Haas, RB even, and then there's us, and then there's Aston Martin. So, why did it say we were 17th on the grid? Huh? Hold on, is it Alpine that's worse? No, they're worse than us in top speed acceleration and cooling. Huh. So we're not actually the worst car on the grid, but we are actually the worst car on the grid. We have like the worst performance. As you can see, the team I want to look at for actual performance comparison is actually Haas. Actually, we'll do Williams for now. So, we're going to compare ourselves to Williams. As you can see, they have pretty decent low speed, medium speed compared to us. So, this season, we're going to be kind of going over everything, kind of. We're going to be going over the main parts of this car. Top speed can be improved. DRS effectiveness obviously can be improved. So, we're going to have to make some improvements to this car, massively. But before I make any changes to this car, I need to head over to the driver section because this is where those affiliates come in. Obviously, we have our drivers. This is where the main analogy comes into play because in this season is going to be where who do I replace and who do I keep. I'm going to be honest, I might keep Valtteri because he is pretty much the experienced driver on the grid. And him and Alex actually have really good... They have pretty much great affinity or great relationship, basically. However, Joe and Andrea Benzi, not very great either. So, as we take a look here at our affiliates, we have Theo Portshare, Zay Maloney. Sorry if I don't pronounce names correctly, but we got Lena here. And then we have Carrie in here as well. So, we have 4 affiliates, which is not going to be enough for how many affiliates we actually need. The minimum I'll need is 6 affiliates, but we only have 4. So, what we could do is hire some affiliates. If we go over to drivers, and we actually go to any affiliate we want, or any free agent, we actually don't have to pay anything to hire free agents to be affiliates. So we're going to go ahead and go to Andy Mayers, and we're going to go ahead and propose a contract. Because he doesn't have a super license, he cannot go to Formula 1 right away. He'll have to be affiliate for a year or 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to put him on it's either going to be a 3 or a 5-year contract. And obviously we're going to have to negotiate, or deadline's going to have to be set immediately so we can get them. I could probably make this work. 3 years, and then 350k. About 5 years, just for a little more money, yeah. So we're going to get Andy Mayers as an affiliate for 5 seasons, starting now with a $370,000 salary. Breakout multiplier, you can't really lower, but there was a version of the game where you could, but now you can't. And the offer deadline is going to have to be set to immediately, so that way we can actually use him right away. Let's see if he'll like his contract. And he does, okay, cool. So now we can hire him basically for free, only at the expense of 370k at the end of the year. So we're gonna have to set his development to car development, so that way we can get. So basically, what this does is it basically does prepare the drivers quickly. It also gives them, or basically gives us as a team, better development speed when it comes to development for the cars. For Carrie and Luna, we're actually going to set them to marking ability. And those two will not be the only ones that'll be set to marking ability. We're going to go to filter and actually go to free agent. We do have some affiliates to choose from here. Let's get Quadita. Let's do it this season, yeah. Let's do that. And then here. Same thing. With Quadita, we're going to give her pretty much the same contract. 5 years, starting immediately. 340k as a salary, and then offer deadlines immediately, but she accepts, so that's good. Sorry. Wrong button. And now, she will be... Oh. She is apparently max driver development. So I can either develop her, or what I'm actually going to do is actually not care about her development at all, and just set it to marketing ability. Because marketing ability equals money. Setting your drivers to car development makes your car a little bit better with speed development. Or faster development, if you will. So, we have one driver at car development. So, we have 6 drivers as affiliates. But here's the problem. Zane Maloney and Theo Porcher, or Theo Porcher in particular, is not an F1. Or an F2, actually, because he just won the F2 championship. What I might do, actually, is... This might be weird. But, since he is at very high development, I might possibly hire him as a driver next year. Possibly. I'm not saying that I will. I'm just saying it's a possibility I could hire him for next season. So, we're going to take a look at his ratings. So, obviously, we can see that his overtaking and his defending is the worst rating, has the worst rating. Which we'll have to do race strategy, which is completely fine. So, we'll do that for Theo. How about Maloney? I'll switch you to car development. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to hire another affiliate to make it to where I can have 3 drivers at car development, which James is going to be perfect for this. And we're going to go to give him a contract for $240,000 for 5 seasons. Again, same contract that I haven't given other free agents. And there we go. He accepts the contract. Beautiful. Now, we're actually, again, going to have him at car development. So we have 3 affiliates on car development, 3 on marking ability, and only 1 at driver development, which will be Theo Porcher. Now, we can get to the biggest thing about this episode, or really the exciting part, developing the car. So, we're going to go ahead and go to design, and we have 6 parts to choose from to upgrade the car, or 6 car parts that we can choose to design. I'm actually going to go ahead and do one project in the underfloor. And ATR period, I'm going to go explain it in a very brief, give you a very brief explanation on what that is. It makes your car parts better by a good bit. So yeah, and we have 15 days to use this period, ATR period, which every ATR period you get to have hours, CFD hours and wind tunnel hours, and you can use them on. You can split the hours on for multiple parts, or you can just use one whole, or you can just use all the hours on one part. For the underfloor, in this case, I'm actually going to use all the hours we have into the underfloor, so we can make this better. Because we do need to make this car better, and already we have some decent gains. If we go to design focus, we're going to go ahead and put all of the sliders on downforce to the right. And durability, we're also going to minimize as well. We're going to minimize durability, which again, brief explanation on durability. Basically, extra weight on the car. So the more heavy it is, or the more extra weight you have, the more races this part will survive, or in terms of durability. So, obviously reinforcing the underfloors, reinforcing the underfloor will improve its lifespan, but also increase the car's weight. Focusing on this means trade-off acceleration, cornering, and efficiency to improve durability. So, if we kept it at the middle, this is the standard thing we'll get. If we reinforce heavily on the underfloor for durability, we will pretty much increase the weight. But I don't want to increase the weight. I want to lower it. So we're going to shove the minimum lifespan onto the left side, so that way we can not only make the car lighter, but also we get better performance out of it. And one thing I will do also, since this car isn't great all the way around, and I will say this now, dirty air tolerance is not going to matter, because you have DRS effectiveness, acceleration, top speed, and cornering to help out, which is low speed, medium speed, and high speed. So we're going to minimize the dirty air tolerance, and we're also going to minimize the drag reduction as well. And we will make another part of the underfloor where we do make up the top speed back. So that is going to be the underfloor that I'm going to design. Now we're going to go to development focus. And we do have the option to rush this underfloor, which is actually what I'm going to do. Which is rush the underfloor. So that way we can get this part moving. And actually get this car part early as possible. I will say this now. We do get some stat increases as well as decreasing. So we're gonna lose some spot. We're gonna lose a spot on dirty tolerance and top speed, but it's okay because we're gonna gain on total extra weight, low speed, medium speed, and high speed as well. So we're gonna go ahead and spend 1.5 million to improve, or to what you want to call it. Yeah, we're gonna spend $1.5 million to design this underfloor. That's gonna come in 15 days. The next thing we're gonna design is the chassis. This is where we're gonna kind of get our top speed back and some more back. So we're gonna minimize DRS delta, which basically means how good is DRS is gonna be for you, or it doesn't have an explanation on DRS delta is. It kind of basically means that the more effective you have when it comes to DRS, the more you can take advantage of. So when you're racing behind a car under DRS, the more effective your DRS has, the more likely that you're going to complete the overtake. Is what basically I'm trying to say. Obviously, we're going to minimize DRS delta, engine cooling, and minimum lifespan, and also maximize airflow middle so we can get that extra cornering that we'll need. We're also going to get a really good buff on acceleration and top speed, as we're actually going to gain positions in the acceleration department. So, this is going to be a part where we will do a normal approach to the underfloor, or to the chassis, excuse me. The next thing we're going to develop is going to be the side pods. I'm going to increase drag reduction, engine cooling, and airflow middle, and minimize both airflow front and minimum lifespan, because obviously we're going to want some buff as well to those, to the components we need. Which engine cooling basically means that, it kind of means that, whatchamacallit, it's gonna, like, your engine's not gonna get too hot. So, as you can see, you obviously can read the text in your own pace to see what I'm trying to say or whatever. But, yeah. We're obviously gonna have to, yeah, we're gonna maximize drag reduction, engine cooling, and airflow minimize the airflow and minimum lifespan. And same thing we did with the chassis. Normal approach. Also, there's options, by the way. When it comes to the normal approach, your engineers will finish the project as soon as they can without rushing. Rush basically means they will put extra hours to finish the project, but that will mean a higher cost for a faster complete time. Intense will put in extra hours to optimize the design. The cost will be higher, aka it will cost us 3 times more. I think rushed is time, 1 times 1.5. Basically, intense will basically people will put in extra hours to optimize the design. The cost will be greater, or the cost will be higher, but we can also gain a greater car expertise bonus, which will improve future designs of this part. But I'm going to be honest, intense, I haven't really seen anybody run intense to where it's like game changing, but I'm going to run normal again for the side pods. And lastly, but not least, we're going to go ahead and go to the suspension, which will be the last part we'll develop. And we're going to minimize pretty much everything. Actually, no, not quite everything, but we are going to minimize the drag reduction, medium speed, high speed, as well as minimum lifespan, but also maximize airflow front, tire preservation, and low speed to kind of get that low speed that we'll need. And once again, we will be making another part of the suspension where we will put top speed into this part, or put more drag reduction into the part. So we're going to again do normal approach. We're going to put 2 engineers. Actually, no, I'm going to put 1 in a suspension and put another employee in chassis. We also have 2 slots for manufacturing. And if we go to design research, so I'm actually going to go ahead and go over to the warehouse, because manufacturing is going to be kind of the main thing for the season as we go in later in the year. So pretty much chassis will take 10 days to manufacture. Front wing and rear wing both take about 3 days to manufacture. Side pods, underfloor, and suspension all take 8 days. So basically, the reason I buffed the chassis the reason I put another engineer in the chassis is so that we can actually get the project not only finished quicker, but also manufacture them as soon as possible without putting too many employees into it, so that way we can mainly focus on underfloor. So, yeah. With that, we're now going to go over to the facilities. We are going to have to make upgrades to certain facilities, and that is going to be, which I will go over here in just a minute, but car development, factory, if you upgrade the factory, you'll get more development speed when it comes to manufacturing, and you get another slot, which I will do an upgrade of the factory pretty soon, once we get the money to do it. As far as wind tunnel and CFD, both of those are pretty useless. I'll just say it now. They do obviously give you more buffs when it comes to what are the stats that you're seeing now, it just doesn't really matter all that much at all. Car part test center and suspension simulator kind of goes over some more of the buffs, but for the most part they kind of do go over tire preservation and engine cooling and all that. So we will be upgrading these two, and we will be upgrading the factory. However, I don't know anything about the design center, so I'm not going to bother with it because it really doesn't matter. Team hub, I'm not really going to focus on the team hub because honestly, team hub doesn't really matter all that much. But it does add team attractiveness, the mentality goes higher. It also adds development to your staff. When it comes to the race sim, obviously the drivers will get more development for their ratings. Scouts, if you upgrade the scouting department, you get more scouts. Now, if we go to operations, boardroom gives us team attractiveness as well as race confidence gain, but boardroom kind of doesn't matter. So, what I often do is kind of go, hey board people, hey board staff, the school board or whatever, y'all gonna have to take the shed because boredom doesn't matter in this game. So yeah, weather center kind of doesn't matter either, but unfortunately I can't really customize the team sliders on what facilities they have, so we're kind of stuck with this weather center. But it is okay because we are going to be maximizing and buffing up these other facilities that we'll need to upgrade, which is actually what I'm going to do. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade the tour center. We'll get some money as well as some marketing ability. We're obviously going to go ahead and upgrade the helipad. And last but not least, let's do the boardroom. Sure, we'll do that. Sure, why not? Why not? And with that, I think I have done almost everything, but I need to go over the sliders for all the drivers. So as you can see, the mentality hub did just get increased, or basically it's now more neutral. It's because I just put facility upgrades into the team, so they're not as much negative as they once were. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set each of the pretty much everybody to a certain slider. Valtteri Bottas, I'm going to have to focus on wet track for Valtteri's developments. For Zhou Guanyu, his worst rating is defending, adaptability, and cornering. So I think I'm going to have to do... that's weird. Huh. So it looks like I'm gonna have to do something interesting. Maybe I can combine, yeah, I can combine these two. Race strategy for Mr. Zhou Guanyu. Race engineer, oh yeah, driver stats. So pace basically goes over pretty much the ability to maintain speed through corners. That this allows the driver to go faster through all corners to improve lap times and reduce the chance of them running wide or spinning when they do. So there will be a time where they spin out and go wide. Also, not to mention lock up, which I think goes to my next point. Yeah. Consistency stats, which these ratings are related to the driver's ability to race consistently, safely, and reliability around a circuit. So basically, they prevent lockups, spins, crashes, obviously going wide, and all that stuff. Racecraft is pretty much related to the driver's ability to fight for positions and maintain raw pace in changing on-track conditions. So you kind of can figure that one out. For the staff, however, there's communication, which the ability to communicate it clearly and effectively towards their driver. Feedback, the ability to give and understand feedback on the car setup during practice. Composure, the ability to remain focused in high-stress environments and to keep others focused. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to improve the car analysis for Alex Chen, and for Andrea, I'm actually going to put responsiveness, rather. Nah, I'll just put a car analysis for him as well, just because why not? So, the staff. Obviously, when it comes to the technical chief, they can pretty much the rating kind of goes over the ability to optimize the design of a front wing, side pod, pretty much any car part you can think of when it comes to designs. For James, I'm actually gonna do grip and traction to meet that middle ground. For the head of aero department, or for the head of aero rather, we have pretty much a good amount to choose from as well. And like earlier, or just like the technical chief, we'll do grip and traction for Sinelli as well. Schneider is the pit director. Basically, kind of the cornerstone of your pit crew. Processes is the ability to develop and refine efficient workflows. Basically, the higher the rating, the less fatigue the pit crew gains from race weekends and training sessions. Leadership, the ability to manage a team through high pressure situations. Obviously, the higher the rating, the greater chance they are to minimize delay from pit mistakes. Amplitude, help mechanics reach their full potential. Higher the rating means a higher upper limit to pit crew's potential, which that is going to be important when it comes to upping their rating. And obviously, the ability to efficiently develop the skill of team mechanics. The higher the rating, the faster the pit crew develop through training sessions, and the less performance they lose between seasons. So, I'm actually going to do communication techniques for leadership. Or actually, I'm going to do industry standards for the pit director, and we actually could go ahead and actually manage the pit schedule for the pit crew. And what I'm going to do for pretty much the entirety of the season is focus the pit crew entirely on pit stop drills. Basically, pretty much get to the point of where we're maximizing our amplitude or attributes. So, I'm just going to spend a few minutes here. As you can see, the more activities we push on, the more fatigue they're going to have. So we're going to have to keep in mind that we can't just make them work. Eventually, we're going to have to, like, hey, here's the vacation. Y'all just take a little break. Basically, that's what we're going to be doing for a little bit here, trying to get this pit schedule going. And hang on, I need to do something real quick. Alright, I'm back. Had to deal with something real quick. Next thing we're gonna do is... Okay, what? Okay. So as you can see, I am obviously messing with the pit training schedule, which will help increase, or basically help improve the pit crew. When I said that we are going to be improving the pit, well, One of the things one of the ways we can improve the team is by hiring better staff. So if we're going to go over to Head of Arrow, we obviously have Head of Arrow that's actually retiring after this season, aka Sinelli. We can actually go hire ourselves a really good staff. So we're going to go ahead and get Diego here on a contract. Since he is on last season contracts, we're going to go ahead and propose contract for Diego. We're going to go for starting date of next season, because if we hired him mid-season, we would have to pay not only a buyout fee, but also pay for breaking contracts, not only with our staff, but also the other team's staff as well. So we're going to put next season, and we're going to get Diego on a 3-year contract, and we're actually going to be paying Diego $4.3 million for 3 years, starting next season, and we're going to give him the deadline of 7 days, and we're going to go and offer contract, and over the course of 7 days, Diego will think over the contract and see if he'll accept it. We're basically going to do this with basically everybody. Basically, as far as the driver and pretty much the staff. Obviously, like the Head of Arrow, we're also going to be replacing our current sport director, and we're actually going to hire Jonathan Wheatley here. So we're going to go over to proposed contract. Obviously, you can see their patience is medium. Basically, what that means is that basically the more patient they are, the more chances you can have at negotiating. But since Jonathan's at medium, that means we can't really mess up too many times at all. We're going to start next season with Jonathan. We're going to give him $3 million. We'll give him $3.5 million. And again, we're going to do the same thing we did with Diego and just give him 7 days to think about the contract. And go over to Technical Chief. We're actually going to do the same, but we have a problem. We're already under contract with James right now. And I don't want James around for next year and beyond. So we might have to break a contract. And that is going to be hiring Pierre, who's really good. So we're going to go over and negotiate with Pierre and actually give him a good contract as well. The reason I also put 7 days is because by that time, we will also have money to play with when it comes to negotiations. So, we're going to give Pierre the same contract we gave everybody else. Give him a decent amount of money. And I'm actually going to give Pierre 28 days to think about this, so that way we can actually save money. Because I do want to spend money when we get the money bonus that we'll get through sponsor negotiations. So we're actually going to go ahead and give Pierre a full 28 days to think about this contract. And there we go. And obviously the drivers, that is going to be, I'm going to sort that out pretty much towards, since there are 24 races of racing, I will pretty much finalize contracts before Hungary. So right after Silverstone, going into Hungary, we're going to be signing people as far as drivers and deciding who we keep and who we don't keep. So Technical Chief, we're pretty much going over a huge overhaul. Now, when it comes to scouting, we're actually going to be hiring some potential drivers, and one of those drivers, it's going to be interesting how this one goes, but we're going to scout a few drivers in mind that would be good replacements. So we'll go to Filter, Championship, F1. They're in the F1 grid right now, and they're on last year contracts. And we're going to pretty much go over the drivers that we could hire. I don't know. We could probably get, Carlos Sainz is not bad of an option to go with, but, for now, let's see. Maybe Danny Rick? Maybe. Also, do we have any, affiliates leaving after the season? Oh, we do. Perfect. Okay. So, for next season, we're going to have to do some negotiations. That'll also take place in Hungary. Speaking of affiliates, we're going to scroll down towards... Where is he? Where is he at? There he is. Kimi Antonelli. We're going to... We can either do driver or... Ooh, interesting. I'm gonna scout him for right now. Not gonna hire him, I'll just scout him for now. But either way, I think we're officially ready to go through time now. Yeah, 46 minutes of me just yapping, but here we are. We're actually now going to get ready for Bahrain. Hooray. And response required. And it's regarding Diego. He accepts our contract for next season. How about it? So we will have Diego next season as our head of aero. Construction complete for our helipad along with our memorial room. That's pretty good. And again, another response required, and it's for our new pit director who accepts our contract. Welcome to the team. We'll see you next season. And now we have sponsor negotiations. We're gonna go ahead and go we're gonna go and negotiate with our sponsors, and we have 3 sponsor packages we could choose from. We have a balance package, engagement pack, well, 2 engagement two engagement packages, which I am not going to be doing. I'm going to do balanced. The reason is because we need money up front. We also need money from engagement and race day funding. So the balance package is actually going to give us what we need. So we're going to go and do that. We obviously can get ourselves some secondary sponsors if we want, but that's what we're going to do, is actually get secondary sponsors. We're going to get we're going to get this one. We're going to get that one. We're also going to get marking ability for Baltas. Yeah, sure, it'll give us more money. Yeah, let's go with this, because we'll get 1 more mandatory, but also our staff development rate will be increased. And let's go with this for engagement. So we're going to get 28.9 million up front. We're also going to get, potentially, we're going to get 24 million up, we're going to get a little over 24 million for potential funding in the engagement. And also, we're going to get a little more than 25 million potentially if we get it done for the race day. So we're going to go confirm this. We're going to get 78.4 million total for funding. So, yeah. So obviously you can see the performance reliance is low. Preference is going to be staff. So we'll confirm that. And we're obviously going to do our sponsor plan, which in the simplest way I can explain it is basically that helps us provide our engagement fund. And since we have affiliate drivers that are focused in the marketing ability, we can actually go ahead and we actually can now put them as engagement activities. The next thing we'll do is we might as well go ahead and do our head of aero. Actually, is there one for technical chief? There is for both. Doesn't look like I'm gonna get a say in it. It doesn't look like. So we'll have to settle with just head of arrow. So, also if you exceed the engagement target, hey, what's up? How you doing? Pretty much, if we exceed the expectation of the engagement, it'll say pretty much that this sponsor plan exceeds your sponsor's engagement target. As a result, the next sponsor plan target will be lower. Agreeing to too many activities will result in diminishing returns and engagement. So basically, don't bother doing too many activities for your engagement. Good, you just want to say, yes, I didn't mean to get you mad, that was my fault. No, you're fine, man. You're fine, bro. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and begin the sponsor plan, and we're going to get 3 million from this, which is actually pretty good. And as you can see, our mentality hub has dramatically increased since the last time I actually looked at it. So we're going to take a look at the mentality hub. We have Alex Chan, who's actually enthusiastic about the team. You want to chat? After this. Positive. We have 2 people that are positive, which is Sinelli and Theo Porcher. Neutral, we have pretty much 10 people that are neutral. And our pick director is still negative. Huh. Interesting. And obviously, we could, as we take a look back in there as well, there's a full report on... Alright. So we actually could take a look of what their biggest issue is. So the main issue right now, or the biggest problem, is the car. Which I kind of would expect. To be honest. Valtry's issue is facilities. Joe is car performance. Car performance being replaced. Since we are replacing him, or Sinelli, with Diego. I'm surprised Snyder's biggest issue has not been replaced, if anything. Alex has no problems right now. Andrea, car performance, 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 car performance. So everyone's problem right now, almost everybody, is car performance. So yeah, there's that. So now we have 29 million to play with. Alright. Either way, since we have scouted Carlos Sainz and Kim Antonelli, let's see. I want to see if I can propose Sainz a contract. Not that I'm going to negotiate right now, but let's say he's car 2, not car 1. So next season, 3 years, 15 million. So 15.8 million would be the cost of having Carlos Sainz. If we want to hire him, that is. Huh. I'm probably am going to put a separate post talking about, hey, who should we replace after this season? Bottas, Joe, or both drivers. And I'll also have another poll talking about who do we hire, and I'll have a list of drivers that I want to hire for next season. So I'll have a separate poll for that. And obviously the deadline will be when episode 12 comes out for Sauber. So, yeah. And obviously we're going to give Sainz the 28 days. So this is the contract I am going to be giving Carlos Sainz. So here it is on screen now. If you want to see, if you're one to take a picture of this contract or whatever. Which, I'm going to go and do that. Actually, no, I'll probably remember this, because I'll watch it back. But, this is what I'm going to give Carlos Sainz, pretty much. And I'm also going to go ahead and do the same for Kimi Antonelli, because I want to see how expensive he will be at the end of the season. And his development rate is max, so we're going to have a really good development driver on our hands. So, I know the game pretty much when it comes to Kimi Antonelli. I'm going to hire Kimi Antonelli for 1 year. We're going to give him... Oh, that's going to be a decent chunk of money. 1.7 million. We're going to give him 7 days to think about this offer. He will be pretty much the development driver. So, I might keep Valtteri. Maybe keep Valtteri around for 1 more year to see if he'll do good. I mean, it won't matter because I'm going to have Kimi Antonelli, but we're going to have Kimi Antonelli as an affiliate for next season, and he will determine whether Valtteri stays in F1 or not, which I don't think it'll matter all that much. So, we're going to go ahead and offer a contract to Kimi Antonelli as an affiliate, because I know this man's career right now in this game. You would think that Kimi Antonelli would get a drive right away. That is not the case. Right now, he is in F2 for his first season, and he's in Mercedes as an affiliate driver. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give Kimi Antonelli a contract to see if he'll come to the team. And while we're doing that, we're also going to have to manage our facilities a little bit better, so that way we can give him the development we need. Or the development he'll need. So, yeah. Obviously, the drivers I want to potentially hire are... Sure, I'll probably consider Alonso. I don't know. Alonso is going to be too much, so we'll do Alonso. I think you only can do 4... I'm needing to think about this, because I kind of want to consider 4 drivers. Valtteri's going to be one of them. Hang on, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I just had to talk to somebody real quick. Either way, so I am considering some options. So my options right now are Alonso, Sainz, Bottas, Kimi Antonelli when it comes to... Wait, what? Hamilton? No. Alonso, Sainz, Bottas, Kimi. So Kimi Antonelli, Bottas, Sainz, and Alonso are going to be my options for next season. Or, no, not next season. For the future. Correction. But, for now, I'm going to hire... I'm going to hire Diego. I have a general idea of his ratings, but I kind of want to see his ratings for a little bit. Now, when it comes to our facilities and how we're going to spend our money, we're actually going to upgrade a couple facilities. That being the factory. We're going to need more slots to upgrade our parts, or to manufacture parts. So, the way we're going to do that is by upgrading the factory. So, it's going to cost us $7 million, but it's going to be worth it on the long-term side of things when it comes to performance. So, we're going to go and upgrade the factory. Like I said earlier, with Kimi Antonelli now coming to the team potentially, we'll upgrade the race simulator. The team hub I'm not too concerned about at the moment. Helipad, we'll go and upgrade that as well. The boiler room, we'll upgrade that as well. And once the tour center comes along, we'll upgrade that as well. And hospitality, we might as well go and do that as well. Upgrade that. I might as well also upgrade the team hub, because next season is going to be a mess when it comes to mentality. But it'd be alright, so. Now we have 16 million to kind of mess with. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, with my expertise in management, we already have a mostly positive mentality hub. That is so wonderful. Still, 2 people are enthusiastic, that being Neil Porsche and Alex Chan, but 11 members are positive. That's wonderful. And our pit director is still neutral. But hey, we're actually improving the team. Hooray. Also, what this positive mentality stuff does is it basically buffs our staff a little bit. So we're actually going to see a little more performance out of Valtteri Bottas. The same will go with Joe Guan Yu. Alex Chen kind of becomes a really good engineer. Let's see. What would Valtteri's contract be? I know it's going to be a decent amount. Huh. 11 million. So Carlos was... Okay, if you actually pay attention to the Carlos Sainz thing, how much was his salary? If anyone paid attention. How much was Carlos Sainz's signing, or his salary? How much was it, if anyone was paying attention? If not, then it's okay, I didn't take a picture. But we could always go back. So, I'm actually going to take a picture of Valtteri, though, just because for next season. I don't know, actually. Wait a minute. I might have just screwed something up by accident. I could do just 1 year. Give Valtteri a 1 year extension. Yeah. I might give Valtteri 1 extra season, I think, to drive, but yeah. This would be his offer, pretty much. Yeah, this will actually be this would be Valtteri's offer, actually. And I'm gonna go back to Carlos Sainz right quick. It didn't save. I was expecting it. So this would be his offer. Okay. So now, with that, I think I'm officially ready to actually keep going. So our Tour Center actually came in. Hooray! We will also upgrade the Tour Center. That was another thing I was going to upgrade. So now if we go to our inbox, we obviously have Kim Antonelli scouted. We're obviously given, we're getting Kim Antonelli an affiliate role for next season to replace Valtteri for 2026. So now our Tour Center is now essentially ready to go for the year, pretty much, when it comes to ready to, like, basically operational. Now, we're getting ready for the season. So obviously our car is, like, probably the worst car on the grid, but yeah. Expected pit stop count will be 2 stop. Pit time loss, safety car 16 seconds, normal racing 22 seconds. The safeguard chances is at 75%, which is pretty high for Bahrain. Obviously 57 laps. It's going to be partly cloudy, so we're expecting a dry race weekend here at Bahrain. With that, we are now going to go ahead and actually begin the first race of the season. When it comes to... I need to go over this right quick. When we go to warehouse, obviously you can see we have engine, ARS, and gearbox. Basically, we have 4 gearboxes per car, 2 ERSs per car, and 4 engines per car. That's going to be really important. We are going to be doing some management with these powertrain components throughout the season, so yeah, just keep that in mind. Not right now, but just keep in mind we will do some powertrain component management throughout the year. So with that, we are now going to go ahead and save. I had a Ferrari save kind of up and ready just because I was possibly getting ready for a Ferrari at some point, but that's okay for right now. That will just overwrite that save. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the race targets. We have a couple of things we can do with our race target. It's either going to be 16th, 18th, or 19th. I'm going to kind of go a little overboard in expectations. I'm actually going to give Valtteri 16th, and Joe Guan Yu, I'm going to give him 18th. Because he's not that good of a driver. Or actually, we're going to have the worst car on the grid going into Bahrain. So it'll be 16th for Valtteri and 18th for Joe. Yeah. This is going to be bad. This is going to be one heck of a race at Bahrain. Just, wow. It's going to be something, alright.
Welcome to Sakhir. Doesn't it feel
All
good
right.
to be back? The beginning of a brand new Formula One season.
Yes, it
Every
does.
team, every driver, whether
Yeah.
rookies or champions, all start here on zero, ahead of another year's battle for glory.
What teams learned in pre-season testing will be put into practice now, with all of them hoping they make the right calls with the data they have.
So stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. The weekend starts here.
Alright. Let's go ahead and begin the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and take a look at the practice preparation for practice 1, FP1 essentially. So the main thing you're going to see me do as far as the run plan, we're going to give all of our drivers 22 laps. We're also going to have the driving options be conserve, harvest. Be conservative when it comes to pace, their fuel, as well as harvest on the ERS, so we don't wear out the ERS. And we're going to be doing that for both drivers. And I will also be doing car setups as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do some buffing and debuffing on some things. So this will be the setup that we'll start out with for both cars. Man, my nose has been like killing me today. Either way. Now, as far as tire compounds, obviously we're going to start them on the hard tires for the practice session. And we will move them over to a different tire. The practice goal is to basically get these 3 things right here as high as possible. So the setup satisfaction is kind of the main component that we can control, pretty much. So yeah. We're going to save again, just because. Yeah. So we don't lose progress. The goal is to get their driver preparation as high as possible by making sure their setup satisfaction is higher, letting them stay on track to improve their track allocation, and letting them get to know the car more. So we're going to go ahead and manage FP1.
Okay, that's the green light now.
And we're going to let Bottas and Joe out. Actually, I forgot to do something. I can obviously do some driver development too. Interesting. Okay. So what I can do actually is I can allow an affiliate to take place of Joe Guan Yu or Valtteri Bottas for practice sessions. I am not going to be messing with Porsche actually, because I was going to do it, but I just realized that I'll probably be doing this for the majority of next season, or if not all of next season. Theo Porsche is an affiliate that, yes, I'm going to be kind of making sure he develops, but I might as well go ahead and let Theo Porsche drive the car. So basically what that's going to do is it's going to kind of take over Joe when it comes to car part knowledge and setup satisfaction. But yeah. So I'm just going to keep it the main drivers for this season, so I can focus mainly on the main drivers. So we're going to go ahead and go straight into FP1. And we're going to obviously go ahead and obviously have them both out on track. And there are a couple things to go over here when it comes to the team hub or the management on track. So you obviously have the play pause feature. You also have the speed, so the 1x is the normal time.
Okay, that's loud and clear. You can focus on your own lap preparation. Copy. You can work the brakes. Copy.
Can y'all shut up? Baby? Huh? Either way. So obviously we can manage the speed of the management when it comes to being on track. So we have the 1x, which is normal. 2x is a little bit faster than 1x. So it'll go, I think, like 2 times as quick as normal time. And then 4x is going to obviously zoom out towards the map of the racetrack. It's going to be pretty quick as well. Then we have 8x, which looks like this, obviously. And then we have 16x, excuse me, which is the speed that I will be using throughout the sessions. And throughout the races as well. So, with that, that is basically what we're going to be doing for practice. For the most part. Also, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the poll that I sent out earlier, a couple days ago. But I'm going to go ahead and share the poll. You actually can still vote for this poll already still. So, I have essentially gave you guys the link to the vote on my YouTube channel. If you want to go ahead and vote on that poll there that I have sent you. Obviously, kind of to see what y'all want to see me do in this game other than Road to Glory. Obviously, there's the Road to Glory, which already has a good amount, but I want to see some variety. But that's just up to you, and that's just up to you. So, if you want to see me do around the grid, which I have no problem in doing, also the My Team career, I don't mind doing as well. So, just vote and I'll see what I can do for now. But the main thing I will be doing is, of course, the series that you're seeing now is the Road to Glory campaign. So, yeah. So now Valtteri Bottas has all of his feedback. So we're going to go ahead and send him to the garage. And we are now going to take a look at his setup. If we take a look at his setup, he thought the oversteer was good, optimal, excuse me. Traction and cornering at great, and straights were good. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to buff the rear wing angle, lower the anti-roll distribution, lower the tire camber, and as well as lower the toe out. So there you go. And Valtteri Bottas will take the softs. This is the setup that we're now putting in Bottas's car. And we're going to pretty much do the exact same with Zhou Guanyu. Pretty much.
We can keep it like this.
Copy, Joe.
And obviously we're going to send him down pit road. So there we are. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Joe's setup. He thought his oversteer was great. Braking stability was great. Cornering great, or optimal. Traction at great, and then straights once again at good. And we're going to up the front wing angle a bit. Up the rear wing angle. Lower the anti-roll distribution. Lower the tire camber as well as the toe out. So this will be his setup going into his next stint, and as well, also we will put Zhou Guanyu on soft tires, just like Valtteri. So yeah. Maybe. And now Valtteri Bottas is ready to go for his second stint in FP1. And Zhou Guanyu is also ready for his second stint here in FP1. And I'm going to go ahead and be right back. So I will be doing some other things as well as we're doing FP1 or practice sessions. So I'll be right back, but I'll still be here kind of just looking over our drivers.
How does the car feel? Question.
Car was good. Thanks, guys.
Copy. Understood.
I'm back. Just had to use the restroom. Apparently there was an incident. While I was gone. Oh, Valtteri. He's ready for his setup feedback. Huh. I was wondering, was there a caution that came out? Events. No. Okay, that's weird. We're going to go ahead and give Valtteri another set of feedback here, another setup. So we thought the oversteer was great from before. Braking is still at optimal. And his cornering and traction is at great from earlier, and straights are optimal for him now. And we're going to lower the front wing angle, and we're also going to lower the toe out. And that's that for his setup. This will be his new setup. And we're going to get him back on the hard tires. And then we're now going to wait for Zhou Guanyu.
I feel very
And Joe is ready.
Copy. Copy.
And Joe thought his oversteer and braking stability was great, cornering optimal, straights now at optimal, and traction at good. We're going to lower his front angle. We're going to up the anti-roll distribution a little bit, tire camber, as well as toe outs. So this will be his new setup. And again, we're going to put him back on the hard tires to end out the session. And now, Valtteri's ready to continue on. Putting some feedback into the car. And there we go.
The tires are on the cold side.
Oh, Russell went wide off
Now
turn
we're
14.
through the last turn here. Oh,
Or
we've
last
seen
corner.
A few go off the track there. Well, hopefully not a sign of things to come.
Oh, it was coming to pit road too. Interesting.
How's the tire, you think?
Tires at the moment are on low side.
Hmm.
Okay, Joe. Is your checker flat?
Alright, checker flag's out in FP1. And we're going to go ahead. Go ahead and get ready for FP2. Max Verstappen was the fastest. Leclerc was second quickest by 5/10. Jesus. Max Verstappen still pretty much set in the stone for the weekend. Fernando Alonso third. So here's where everybody else finished in FP1. So obviously our drivers were last place on the grid, pretty much. So there's that for our drivers. Bottas' driver preparation at 30%, and Joe Guanyu is at 31%. And we're getting ready now for FP2. And same procedure. We're going to put them both on 22 laps on the run plan. Conserve, conserve, harvest for our drivers. Everything went well. Got some feedback into the car. And we're going to go and save once again, just so that we don't lose our save. And now we're going to continue on into FP2. This time we'll start on the mediums.
2, 1, green on the wall.
And we're going to go ahead and release them onto the track and get them started on feedback. Yeah, this is going to be a long video that I'm going to have to put out on YouTube. This is going to be like longer than an hour and a half for sure, but I don't mind. Yeah. So,
Keep the same.
satisfaction optimal. So another thing we can go over here in practice is we can also take a look. If we hit RT, we can actually see the prediction of the track or their progress. Obviously, we can see timeout on track. We have the drivers. So Valtteri has essentially 100% on his setup satisfaction. So we can actually just let him stay on track right now. Joe Guanyu will have to wait and see about his setup. And here's the car condition. The fuel load is obviously going to diminish here. And obviously here's the track details over what will happen over the course of a session. If we go to LT, so you obviously can see the session, the Driver's Championship, as well as Constructor's Championship. The lap history of a driver or whatever you want to go to. So like Leclerc, Sainz, Piastri, Bottas, Joe. I didn't know there was a 24th or 23rd position or 25th. There's also the tire history of that driver or team throughout the session. The events that happen over a session, and also the reports and our race, or the reports within a race weekend. So obviously the weather going in or whatever. And obviously our race targets. We have our post-practice report and then pre-race report. So there's that. So let's see. Gasly hasn't put a time yet. He just now did. Hamilton over Verstappen's now quickest in the session. Is Joe good on the setup? He is as well. So now both drivers are good in their setups. So we are now just going to let them stay on track. and just let them stay out on track until they're out of fuel. Basically, that's what I'm doing to them. Making sure they have plenty of track time here to make sure they have their track allocation completed or whatever. And hopefully everyone is enjoying their beautiful Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday in general. Wherever you are, hopefully you're enjoying it. It's taking them a bit. I'm okay, just not feeling good like yesterday. It's a little unfortunate. And now they're back after their first long stint, and now Bottas's draft preparation went from like 40-something% to now 83 because he has 100% in his set of confidence. Just like FP1, we're gonna get Bottas on the softs or on softer compound. Joe Guanyu goes from 44% to now 84 because his setup is at 100%, and we'll give him a soft tire as well. And we're gonna go ahead and release them back onto the track to pretty much finish out FP2. And I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Alright. And now we're coming to the end of FP2, and it looks like Albin ran wide out of the last corner.
Oh no, wide they go. But all being well and fingers crossed, no lasting damage to the car.
So it looks like Albin went wide, just like Russell did earlier. And FP2 is now complete. And both cars will see the checkered flag. So again, Carlos Sainz was the fastest car in FP2. So that's pretty interesting. And here's the rest of the grid. See where everybody finished. We actually went 18th in FP2, which is pretty good. So 90% for Bottas and driver preparation. Joe Guanyu is at 91, which is pretty good. FP3, which is the last practice session of the weekend, and we're going to simulate that since there's nothing really to go over in FP3. Simulate the session.
Let's hope the teams took full advantage of practice. It's time for qualifying.
And now it's time to go qualify here at Bahrain. So their driver preparation, how do they do? 100% for their driver preparation. Very good. And we're gonna pretty much, this will be the run plan for pretty much qualifying in general. 2 flying laps in the session. And we're going to go out twice here in this session, since our car is not very good. So we're going to go ahead and manage qualifying, or
Should have
Q1.
the green light now.
And we're going to go ahead and release... Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Expect me to do a reset or two of qualifying or Grand Prix, depending on the situation, because... Let's just say, I do dumb things at the wrong time. So,
That's the green
yeah.
light now.
So Bottas is now ready. And Joe's ready now. So we're going to go ahead and do some qualifying laps here at Bahrain. No traffic for our first lap, which is good. Joe went wide.
Let's take a closer look.
Not
Here
very
we are,
good.
going into turn 9.
Hmm.
And nearly, just
Wow.
wide. Really, they must be careful.
That's going to really hurt his qualifying lap. No traffic for his second lap. So he has a chance to improve it. Valtteri is still second in the session.
Yep.
Joe, does he improve it? He does by over 9/10, but it's not going to be enough to be with his teammates.
Okay, Joe.
Wow.
Watch your delta.
That was horrible of a lap by Joe Guan Yu. Wow. Just by looking at the lap times that Valtteri and Joe Guan Yu just put out, Joe, we'll see you later. We're not hiring you next year. I can't with this guy. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and give Bottas and Joe another attempt at qualifying here in Q1. Let's see. Valtteri's good. I just think another run will be needed here, so... I should have... Might as well let them both out now while I have the chance. I should have let them out earlier, but... Alright. Verstappen had a look up right before the end of qualifying here. Let's see.
Well, you can see the lockup. What caused that, I
Ooh.
wonder?
Oh. Yeah, he locked up bad.
At the moment, all clear. And more push.
And I will be right back as they are starting their qualifying. Alright, I'm back. And... Bottas right now is on a good lap. Joe is not. So it looks like Bottas might improve his lap. Let's see if Joe will interfere with traffic here. Another yellow sector for Joe. Looks like he'll have no traffic here. That might not be the case, actually, but Bottas does jump up a spot. Let's see. Joe Guan Yu doesn't move up a spot, and Bottas is now in Q2. Interesting. Joe Guan Yu misses out in Q2. Misses out Q2. Verstappen was the fastest. despite the lockup, it looks like. 5 Q10s. So taking a look here at the rest of the grid to see who missed Q2. Espen Ocon, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Joe, and Sargent all face elimination going into Q2, and Valtteri barely makes it into Q2. Again, we're going to do 2 laps for Valtteri. And I'm going to put Valtteri on old tires here. Fuck. I did not want to sneeze. Dang it. Hang on, I'm going to go ahead and blow it up. Alright, I'm back. Oh, I hate it. Hate it. Hate sneezing and having to blow out my nose, man. But either way, we're going to go ahead and start Q2, and we're going to have Valtteri on old softs, essentially. The reason this is because, honestly, we're not even going to make it to Q3, so we're just basically going to do one run, and one run only for Valtteri here. But let's see, no traffic, good. First lap. Second lap I knew it was going to have traffic, because I saw all those cars go out. And that'll be his qualifying session. Wow, ahead of Magnussen on old softs. And Joe and Tsunoda, actually. We're going to put Bottas on those tires. What? Excuse me, how are we 11th? I might as well. I probably should have done this earlier, but let's see if we can do it. Hang on, can we do another lap? I doubt we will now, but we will now. So let's see what kind of lap we can put. We're last in the session, but let's see. Can we get to Q3? I doubt we will, but coming out of the final corner, what does Valtteri bring to the team? Does he get into Q3? The answer is no, he will not. Aw, man, that was a waste of tires. Well, 15th, I kind of expected it, but hey, we had a pretty good run towards the beginning of the session. Max Verstappen, first in the session. Hamilton, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Albon, and Bottas out of Q3. Taking a look at Q3 results. Verstappen will go pole after qualifying. So Norris will start right next to Verstappen here, and Perez third. So, yeah. So this is the grid going into Bahrain Grand Prix. And, yeah, let's go.
Here in Sakir, the floodlights are on, and it's nearly time for 57 laps around the Bahrain International Circuit.
Bahrain has seen some of the most dramatic races in F1, like Sergio Perez's incredible 2020 victory, surging ahead from being last on the opening lap.
Bahrain International Circuit was Formula One's first venue in the Middle East, and is still a calendar favourite. Dusty and challenging, this desert track is a real test of endurance for teams and for drivers. The teams are making their final preparations down in the pit lane, ahead of today's race.
I'm gonna hop off, maybe watch how McKinnon gets on. Oh, okay. So now, we're gonna go ahead and get ready for the Grand Prix. So obviously we have the soft, medium strategy. There's obviously the soft, medium, soft, medium, soft. So I'm actually am going to do something that I normally wouldn't do. And I'm actually going to do this strategy, actually. So we're going to push Bottas to the end of the Grand Prix. I might save Bottas's tires early on. So this will be Bottas's strategy. He's going to start on the soft tires, conserving. Then later on, in the Grand Prix, he will pretty much slowly but surely push his tires. So we're going to go ahead and set his pace mode to conserve, fuel usage conserve. Because we are going to be making sure we have less fuel, and that'll help us have less weight on the car. We're going to do essentially the same thing to Joe Guan Yu's car. When it comes to Joe's strategy, we're actually going to do pretty much the opposite. We're going to do soft, medium, soft. Again, push his tires. We're going to conserve his tires at the end. So we're going to be pushing Joe's tires a little bit, so it's going to look like this. Basically, that's going to be Joe's strategy. We're going to be pushing over the course of the run, then we're going to be conserving really hard at the end. So, again, we're going to have less fuel on the car. Yeah, so there's that. I think we're ready now for the Grand Prix here at Bahrain. So again, our goal is 18th and 16th. Valtteri's already meeting that goal, but Joe needs to improve by 1 position. So we'll go ahead and get ready for the Bahrain Grand Prix for the first race of the 2024 season.
Welcome back, everyone. The final preparations are now being made as we head into the race. Now, this could be an important race for Pierre Gasly.
They'll be a bit frustrated to start in P18, but if they nail their race strategy, who knows what they can pull off.
But there's no more time left. We've got a race on our hands. Here we go with the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
And it's lights out and away we go here at Bahrain. Let's see if we can get a good start here. Looks like Valtteri is going to get a good start to open the Grand Prix. He's already up to 13th so far. Joe Guan Yu up to 17th on the start. We do have a little checkup, but we're up to 13th for Valtteri Bottas, and Joe is now up to 18th after turn 1, already off to a good start here at Bahrain. As Max Verstappen does lead the Grand Prix, Magnussen just overtook our driver Valtteri Bottas, and looks like Red Bull of Perez and Verstappen are pulling away just a little bit ahead of the McLarens. And Max Verstappen is going to be blocking his Red Bull teammate of Perez, who is going to lead the first lap of the Grand Prix, and it looks like to be the Dutchman of Max Verstappen to open up the season, and DRS will be on. That is one of the main changes to IRL from 2023 to 2024. DRS gets turned on right away versus what it used to be, which was lap 3. Now it's at the end of the first lap. And already we're seeing Valtteri Bottas go to 12th here, fighting Yuki Tsunoda for the 12th spot. He gets it done. Set pretty much into the corner, and it looks like Joe Guan Yu now up 17th, potentially going to fight Ocon for the 16th spot. He gets it done, and he is now up to 16th, just defending himself from Ocon and Albon and the rest of the drivers behind him. And what a start to the year. And Max Verstappen does lead the Grand Prix. Piastri right now does have the fastest lap at the moment. And Lando Norris is keeping up with the Red Bulls. But it looks like Leclerc, Piastri, and Sainz are keeping up as well. And Alonso. Now there's a battle between Stroll and Ricciardo. And there goes Stroll just ahead of Danny Rick. And there you see it there. Stroll now up to 8th place. And how about this? Our driver, Valtteri Bottas, up to 11th ahead of Hamilton. Going at it here with pretty much about to fight Russell for 10th here. This is very interesting to open up the season. And there's Zhou Guanyu in 16th. But we're getting a huge performance from Valtteri Bottas now, as we are completing the lap. Zhou Guanyu up to 15th, and it looks like we are fighting pretty much Danny Rick, Lance Stroll, but we're now up to 10th, ahead of Russell. Now we're ahead of Lance Stroll. We are now P9 in a kick Sauber in our first race of the season. What a race to kick off the year. And how about Valtteri Bottas, who is on a roll right now? He's about to go to 8th place, and he does. He clears Daniel Ricciardo to get the 8th position. What a race for Valtteri Bottas to start off the campaign. Wow. And Zhou Guanyu now up to 14th, coming out of the final corner. Can't quite get to Hamilton. But now it looks like Valtteri Bottas will have to pretty much defend for the spot. Or pretty much defend himself from losing points here. Wow, it's been a thriller so far to open up the season. And we're back up into 8th now. Pretty much fighting Daniel Ricciardo still. Potentially gaining on Fernando Alonso. Perez now has the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Looks like Bottas does have ERS to use up here. And I'm going to go ahead and use up his ERS here to stay ahead. Stay ahead of Ricciardo if he can. But we're going to go ahead and use some deployment on Zhou Guanyu to get him to catch up to his teammate. But, yeah, it's been a race so far for Valtteri Bottas. Starting in the back, kind of in 15th. But he has already made his way up into the 8th position, ahead of George Russell, Daniel Ricciardo. But now, we're seeing Valtteri potentially catching up to the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso. And as you can see, we're pretty much about to be in DRS range of Alonso, actually, as we go on through the run. And we are conserving, again, at the start of the Grand Prix. And then over the course of the Grand Prix, we will be pushing Valtteri on the tires. But right now, our work is paying off, as we are ahead of George Russell and Daniel Ricciardo. We are not in our pit window yet. We do have a gap between ourselves and the last drivers at the points. Zhou Guanyu is 13th, ahead of Tsunoda by a long shot, now catching up to Lewis Hamilton and Lance Stroll. Excuse me. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Wow. Lewis Hamilton, of course. This is his last season in Mercedes. And how about this? Hamilton up to 11th. The 7-time champ can still make passes like his younger self. But right now, he is still ahead of Lance Stroll now. And potentially, Joe could get the DRS of both Hamilton and Stroll if they keep fighting out the way they are now. And it looks like Valtteri Bottas could get DRS off of Fernando Alonso pretty shortly here. And it looks like Hamilton just locked up at
So
turn
this was the
4.
fourth corner. Oh, and the car locks up. They took a gamble,
Oof.
and it was just too late.
Not very good at all, but I don't think it's going to get us DRS on Hamilton. Nope, it's not going to get us DRS. We're still trying to catch Fernando Alonso at this moment. We are now seeing pit stops being made. And it looks like Kevin Magnussen opts to go to the hard tires. Looks like Haas is trying to pull some strategy here from the soft compound. I believe Magnussen was on the... I believe he was on the soft tire from earlier, huh? Let's go to Kevin Magnussen here. Yeah, he went from the soft tire to hard. So they're trying to pull a strategy here that could work, but also probably can't work at all. And Zhou Guanyu's pit window has opened up now. And Bottas still has a long way to go before he pits, but he is now seeing Fernando Alonso and Oscar Piastri. And look at this. Valtteri Bottas gonna get DRS off of Fernando Alonso, and Oscar Piastri, and Russell now takes fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And Alonso, the two-time champion, is now around Piastri for the 6th spot. Looks like Piastri melted through his tires pretty quickly, and here comes Valtteri Bottas now. He's up to P7, and he has DRS coming out of the corner. And he is now up to 7th place here at Bahrain to start off the season. And he is pulling away from Oscar Piastri. Wow. Oscar Piastri completely melted through his tires. And now we're seeing Perez come down pit road. And as we get further into the run, Valtteri Bottas will be pushing his tires pretty shortly. I think Valtteri would love to push these tires pretty soon, but now he is up to 3rd with Alonso, Russell, Leclerc, and Verstappen all come down pit road. And Zhou Guanyu is now ready to pit, so we'll put him on the mediums. Get him ready for his next stop. We're not going to bother with Perez here, as we're going to try and get DRS off of him. Yep, there we go. We got free DRS here. There we go. As we're going to go ahead and, again, pit Zhou Guanyu here. 2.6 was his stop, and Bottas now about to lead his first laps in a Sauber, and he is officially in his pit window. He is now P1. This is not his true position, because he still needs to come up pit road, and he has now led laps in a Sauber for the first time this season to open up the year. And we'll push Joe and ERS here in just a bit. And Valtteri does need to come down pit road. He'll be on the soft tires, and it looks like I think somebody had a spin, and it was Sonoda. Ooh, right off to end of sector 2. Yeah, that's gonna hurt him. Right in the gravel as well. Ooh, that's gonna be rough for him. And now we're gonna push Zhou Guanyu on ERS. Ricardo does get fastest lap of the Grand Prix. That train of cars is coming Valtteri's way, and we will pit Valtteri this lap. Very good start to the Grand Prix. And honestly, really good first half of the race so far for Valtteri, as we're now going to see him on the soft tire. And let's see, where will he come out? He might come out ahead of Hamilton, I think. Better Russell. 2.7 for Valtteri. It's going to be ahead of Ricardo, I think. I think it's ahead of Ricardo. Yep, it is. Alright, so he'll keep P9. for Daniel Ricciardo. Yep, gets it.
Okay, that's
Very
fine.
good for Bottas.
Russell.
So we're going to push Bottas here on the RS. He does get past for Daniel Ricciardo, but we will make the pass back. We will save the RS for Valtteri here. Joe isn't gonna have a long time before he has to come down for softs to conserve. Up to P8 now. We lost time to Alonso and Piastri, but pit window is open now again for Joe. So it won't be long till he's back on pit road. So again, Bottas up to 8th place. Potentially gonna catch up to Piastri and Alonso, but I highly doubt it. There's Joe. He's gonna come down for softs. This lap by. And there he is on pit road. 2.9 to end out his run on pit road. We will be fighting Ricciardo here for 8th place. And again, we really got a good car. Not only that, but also good tires on Ricciardo as well. And it looks like Joe is 15th at the moment, meeting the objective for the team. Or exceeding it, actually. Bottas in 7th now, not his actual position. And we will push Valtteri now on this tire.
Yes.
So we are going to save the RS here for Valtteri. Just so that we have semi-RS to play with on his push lap. When it comes to his flying lap, pretty much. On his first actual lap on new tires. And Valtteri will come down now for mediums. Looks like he will get passed by Leclerc. 2.9, right behind Hamilton. He's going to get passed by Danny Rick. And there's yellow flags on the racetrack, but it's at Sector 3. And Valtteri now has P10 over Ricciardo. And there's a spin at turn number 8. Oh, there it is for Kevin Magnussen.
Sorry, man. No mistake.
That is not what Haas needed right there. And as you can see, Valtteri up to 10th now. Closing the gap between himself against them. Closing the gap between himself and the Mercedes and Alonso as well. So we could see a push from Valtteri to stay in the points, and Tsunoda locked up.
Here we are then, reaching turn 13.
This is his second mistake of the night.
Just lock up.
Oh, he almost got into, I believe that was Gasly. Almost. Or Ocon, excuse me. Almost got into the back of Ocon. And there's Valtteri Bottas now, up to 8th. 10 to go. Doesn't look like Joe will go anywhere in terms of positions, but he's P13. We could bring in some huge points that we need for the season. We are going to save the RS for the last lap. It's going to be close on the fuel. That is the one con of running the strategy that we're running in terms of fuel run. We could face a possibility of running out of fuel. And it looks like we are good on the fuel
We no longer need it.
for Valtteri and Joe.
Yeah, copy.
As we are now about to be on the last lap. It doesn't look like we'll get the opportunity to catch Alonso, but we are getting close to the final lap of the Grand Prix. And once again, DRS on Hamilton. He does get the position for only a little bit. Does he get DRS still of, yep, he does. Still has DRS on Hamilton. But it's not going to fully work out in his favor. But we are now coming to the final lap here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Verstappen does not have the lead now. It is Carlos Sainz who has the lead. And we're going to give
Sock 7 for overtake.
Valtteri Bottas, the ERS he'll need to compete against Hamilton. And it looks like it is a Verstappen versus Sainz versus Norris. And it looks like another caution in the Grand Prix. And it's Albon locking up at turn 3.
Right, let's have a look as we go into turn 4.
Or turn 4, yeah.
Very heavy on the brakes, and hopefully
Almost
there's
into
not
the
too
Alpine
much
again.
damage to the tyre.
That was almost in the back of Gasly this time. And it looks like as though as Carlos Sainz could secure Ferrari a race win early in the campaign, and it does look as though that we are going to see Carlos Sainz in victory lane once again in the Ferrari. He was the only non-Red Bull winner last season, and he'll do the same. He'll win again here at Ferrari at Bahrain. As we have Lando Norris and Verstappen to join Carlos Sainz at the podium, and it looks like Leclerc's going to come out of the final corner to get P4 to finish out the race.
Nice work.
Perez 5th, and here comes Piastri to round out the final corner to now grab P number 6, and it looks like as though Alonso is now in 7th. But here's the battle that we were seeing earlier today. Bottas versus Hamilton as we come out of the final corner. It's Valtteri Bottas to get 8th place over Hamilton. And now, Russell coming out of the final corner to get P11. Daniel Ricciardo gets the last place for points. And Stroll now is coming out of the final corner to get P12. And here comes Zhou Guanyu to grab P13. A decent start to the campaign, but what a phenomenal day that Valtteri Bottas has brought in to the team to bring home P8 points on the weekend. And Hülkenberg finishes out the weekend for Haas, P14, and there's Ocon in 15th, Tsunoda 16th, Gasly 17th, and then we have Albon 18th, Sargent 19th, as well as Magnussen dead last.
And with a 13th place finish, that sadly means there's no points to be claimed.
And with that, the Sainz name remains engraved in F1 history.
Their first win of the season, and the team looking on will be very proud, I'm sure.
What a day
And with
for
that,
Ferrari.
the drivers finally get the chance to cool off and enjoy themselves.
What a day for Ferrari and Carlos Sainz. What a race. What a race for us, though.
How do you think the Sauber team will be feeling after that?
Well, it was a bit of a mixed bag here. Some things went their way, but others didn't. I think their main target now will be finding some consistency for sure.
And that is about that for this weekend's action here in Bahrain.
In the next round, we head to the shores of the Red Sea as Formula One returns to Jeddah for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
All right. And there it was. At the end of the weekend, Carlos Sainz does pick up the race win. Max Verstappen, P2. And how about this? Lando Norris picking up the fastest lap to end the Grand Prix. Then we have Leclerc in 4th, Perez in 5th, Piastri 6th, Alonso P7, and Valtteri Bottas from 15th on the grid with probably the worst car on the grid gives Sauber a points finish on debut for the season, and Hamilton 9th place. And Dan Ricciardo ends out the finishers for points. Then we have Russell, Stroll, Zhou Guanyu gaining 6 spots on the day. Still a good Grand Prix though for Zhou Guanyu despite the disaster. Despite that disaster at the at pretty much qualifying it was. Then we have Hülkenberg, Ocon, Tsunoda. Tsunoda had a really bad day, losing multiple positions. Then we have Gasly, Again, Albon just didn't have a good weekend. And then we pretty much have Sargent and then Kevin Magnussen, who rounds out the grid dead last. And there's the Driver Championship in the top 10. And here is now the last half of the grid for the Driver Championship. And now we're taking a look here at the Constructors Championship. We are 5th in the championship already to open up the year. That is great for our team. Ferrari is first at the Constructors Championship. Then we have Red Bull, McLaren, Aston Martin. Then we have Sauber, Mercedes, and RB, who all claim points at the end of the race. Then we have Haas, Alpine, and Williams, who all failed to get points at the end of the Grand Prix. And then we have the DHL fastest pit stop, excuse me. Looks like we didn't get any points. Basically, this is another championship you can get if you pretty much put in faster pit times in the grid. Basically, the top 10 fastest pit stops will be awarded points, which is pretty much what you can see right now. And then you have the DHL fastest pit stop competition, which again, if you get the top 10 fastest pit stop, you'll get points, but we did not, unfortunately, get a fast pit stop at the end. We were actually the 8th quickest team when it came to pit stops, but we were not able to get points. Looking at a report, we actually didn't do half bad this race. Zhou Guanyu is actually the better driver when it came to pit stops, so it looks like the team was more prepared for Zhou Guanyu than Bottas, but it is what it is, though. We did end up getting some points in the Constructors and Drivers' Championship. And now, taking a look at our driver performance, both Valtteri and Zhou Guanyu met the expectations for the Grand Prix. We do lose 20k since Valtteri has a race target. We do get, though, $900,000 to keep for this race. And we're going to go ahead and go through here, and there we go. My boy room is in, as well as the helipad, and that is where I'm going to end it for now, for this episode. And hopefully everybody enjoyed it. This has been kind of the main thing in the making, pretty much. Next time we'll go race to Saudi Arabia, but with that, if you enjoyed this, I really appreciate if you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I also really appreciate the notification bell so you don't miss another video from me. And, again, I do have Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram down below in the description of my YouTube channel. Once again, I will say, if you're new around here on Twitch, I'd also really appreciate if you follow me as well, as I do stream every day and also do videos every day. But with that, that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. And with that, I will see you guys in the next episode, where we go race at Saudi Arabia for the second race of the season. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.